Welcome in, everyone. Buckle up because today's deep dive is going to be a wild one. You guys have sent in a ton of stuff about this Athena guy, articles, videos, even what looks like an entire Wikipedia rabbit hole.
And it's a fascinating story. Really is.
Yeah.
A perplexing one, too.
Yeah.
We're talking about someone who went from the top of the World of Warcraft universe to, well, let's just say it gets complicated.
See, that's what I love to hear. World of Warcraft, I get, or at least I used to back in the day. But this whole thing about going from digital god to, like, philosophy guru, that's the kind of curveball that makes these deep dives so much fun. So give us the basics. Who is this Athena guy anyway?
You got to go back to, like, the early days of YouTube, right? Around 2007, Athene shows up as this World of Warcraft player. But not just any player. He's doing these insane things, hitting level caps like 80, then 85, before anyone else setting world records left and right. But it's how he presents it all, the whole persona. That's what really grabs people.
So it's not just skill, it's the showmanship.
Exactly. Picture this hardcore gaming next with this almost like absurdist humor, all set to Celine Dion.
Wait, what's a Celine Dion? My heart will go on Celine Dion.
The one and only.
Oh,
It was so unexpected, so bizarre, and it totally worked. That video and a bunch of his others just blew up. People who didn't even care about gaming were drawn in by his personality.
So he's building this huge, diverse audience, but at the same time, he's pulling off some seriously impressive stuff within the gaming world, too. This isn't just some guy messing around. He's got the skills to back it up. That's a powerful combo.
And he owes it, too. He understands how to work an audience, how to make a spectacle. Remember, this is before every gamer and their grandma had a streaming channel. Athene was one of the first, and he had this unique blend of, like, pure skill and showmanship that made him stand out.
Okay, so we've got the foundation, World of Warcraft prodigy, viral video star, clearly a smart dude. But it doesn't end there, right? I mean, you hinted at it earlier. There's more to his story than just gaming.
Oh, yeah. Way more. And this is where things get really interesting. See, Athena wasn't content with just the digital world. He tries his hand at professional poker, not just messing around, like actually competing at a high level. And then there's this whole stint on Belgian Big Brother.
Whoa, hold on. Belgian Big Brother, that's a curveball if I've ever heard one. It's like he's purposefully breaking out of that gamer box, trying to see if he can make it in the mainstream, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is crucial, I think, to understanding where he goes next. It shows how far his reach actually extends. He's not just appealing to a niche audience anymore. He's pulling in a much wider range of people, way beyond just the gaming community.
So we've got Athena, master of the digital world, poker sharp, even dipping his toes into reality TV. Seems like he's building this, I don't know, empire of personality. But then, bam, hard left turn into philosophy.
Yeah, you could say that. Around 2011, he drops this documentary, Athene's Theory of Everything, he calls it. And it's like a complete 180 from what people expected from him. Totally out of left field.
From headshots to, like, heady concepts. Lay it on us. What's this documentary actually about?
So it's dense, man. Really intricate. We're talking consciousness, physics, the universe, the whole shebang. He goes deep, throws out these grand theories about how everything works. Like he's creating, I don't know, a user manual for existence itself.
Ambitious, to say the least. But you said dense. Could his fans even follow along, given, his background?
That's the thing, right? Huge debate sparked up around it. Some people blown away, praising his intellect, his insight. Others super skeptical, questioning his credentials, poking holes in the logic, basically accusing him of overreaching.
Which, to be fair, he didn't have, like, a PhD in theoretical physics tucked away somewhere, right?
Not exactly. His background was more political science, IT, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's this inherent tension, between his self-proclaimed genius and the lack of that traditional academic backing.
Yeah, I can see how that would rub some people the wrong way, especially with stuff this complex. But even with the mixed reactions, it clearly struck a nerve. This wasn't just a publicity grab. It feels like he's trying to express a deeper worldview here.
Totally. And this documentary laid the groundwork for what he'd later call neurospinozism, his own brand of philosophy. Eventually, he shortened it to just Athenism, but...
Okay, hold on. Neurospinozism. It's a mouthful, even without the neuro part. Break that down for us. What are we talking about here?
All right, so picture it like a spider web, right? Everything connected. That's the basic idea he's taking from Baruch Spinoza, this 17th century philosopher. But Athene, he takes it further. It says our minds, they're part of this web too. And by tapping into it, by prioritizing logic, reason, we can unlock our true potential.
So kind of mind over matter, but like on a cosmic scale?
In a way, yeah. But he frames it as leveling up your brain. Very much in line with his gaming roots, right? You grind, you optimize, you achieve a higher state of being.
Grind, optimize, achieve. He's like gamified philosophy for the internet age.
That's genius, really. Takes these abstract, often inaccessible concepts and makes them relatable, even exciting to his audience. People used to quests, achievements, they get it.
And this click you mentioned earlier, this mental shift, is that part of this whole neurospinosism deal?
Oh, absolutely. It's central to it, in fact. He describes it as this moment of clarity, where you break free from emotional bias and see the world through this purely logical lens.
So less feeling, more thinking, like Spock would approve. But what does that actually look like in practice? How do you know if you've had this click? So let's dig into this whole click thing a bit more. If it's about unlocking this like higher level of logic and reason, how does that actually play out in, day-to-day life? What does Athene say it does for you?
Well, he claims it can lead to some pretty wild stuff. Increased intelligence, better problem solving, making decisions without letting your emotions get in the way, all that good stuff. He even says it can boost your attractiveness.
Right, the infamous logic pussy. Gotta love that. Hard to tell if he's being serious or just messing with people on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes this whole click thing so fascinating and a little bit unnerving, to be honest. For some people, this shift towards logic, it might be subtle. Maybe to just become a bit more deliberate, less reactive.
So like a calmer, more, I don't know, calculated approach to life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But for others, and this is where things get a bit controversial, the click becomes directly tied to Athene himself. He's seen as this like guru figure who can guide you to it.
Which is where those cult comparisons come in, right? The Singularity Group, that community he founded in Germany, it's not your average group of roommates, is it?
Not even close. We're talking about a seriously dedicated group of people, all living and working together under Athene's, shall we say, guidance. And it's not easy to get in. They've got requirements. You got to be financially independent, vegan, and probably most importantly, completely bought into Athene's whole philosophy.
So it's exclusive, ideologically driven. Yeah, I can see how that would feed into the whole cult narrative, especially when you consider how devoted some of these people seem to be to Athene.
And yet, there's this other side to the story that just doesn't quite fit that narrative. Athene and the Singularity Group, they do a ton of charity work, like millions of dollars raised through their gaming for good organization for causes like Save the Children. He was even on the ground during the Ebola crisis providing aid and support.
It's a weird juxtaposition, right? This community that some might call insular, maybe even manipulative, but also engaged in philanthropy on a massive scale, actually making a difference in the world. How do those two things even coexist?
It's a contradiction that's tough to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Are they really trying to do good in the world? Or is it just a PR move to deflect criticism and make themselves look better? Tough to say.
And get this, they even considered registering as a religion at one point. It sounds like something out of a dystopian satire.
It really does, doesn't it? Apparently, they had some trouble registering as a normal charity, and someone jokingly suggested, hey, why not just become a religion? Turns out, it's a legitimate legal loophole. Talk about blurring the lines between online shenanigans and real-world impact.
What a wild ride, this whole Athene thing. He's a master of contradictions, that's for sure. Hard to pin down, hard to categorize. Is he a visionary leader, a master manipulator, or just a really, really good troll? Who knows?
That, my friend, is the question that lingers long after you dive into Athene's world. And maybe there isn't one single answer. Maybe it's a bit of all of it, all mixed up in a way that's both fascinating and a little bit unsettling.
It really goes to show that in this digital age, the lines between what's online and what's real, they get blurry. And sometimes the most compelling stories are the ones we can't quite figure out. So to our listeners, we leave you with this. What's your take on the Athene enigma? Visionary, villain, or something in between? Until next time, keep those sources coming, and happy diving.